Yo, what's going on, fellas? It's your main man, Six Paths Dunga, back again with another video. You know what's crazy? Every day I get new subscribers, and the thing is, I don't even upload these as often as I used to. That means every time I upload this, somebody is seeing my face for the first time. I mean, on this channel, I've made it clear that I have no problem showing my face. You could probably find over 50 videos of me showing my face on this channel because I love to do these reaction videos with you guys. Like, of course, analysis videos and theory videos is my bread and butter, but these is like something I personally love to do because it gives me a chance to just sit with you guys and talk, just discuss Boruto, you know what I mean? So anyway, I had this video be requested to me a while back and I didn't really react to it because I just didn't have the time, but now I'm finally getting into it and it looks like this one is going to be a banger by Kashikage. I reacted to him quite a bit in the past. I'd say he's one of the better Boruto content creators out there. You know, I always enjoy his videos whenever I get the chance to watch, so we're gonna get into it, you know? Boruto obtains divine sword arts from Momoshiki. Now, I did make a video on Boruto's sword, his new sword, yes. But as always, I love to hear new perspectives and new ideas that I myself didn't think about. Before we get into the video though, Kashikage, of course I'm gonna leave the link to his channel down below in the description. So be sure before you do anything, go drop a like, maybe subscribe to him if you like the content, you know what I'm saying? Hey, and we're testing out this new hype feature on YouTube. It's not on desktop, you're gonna have to go to your mobile device to do this, but if you're already watching from a mobile device, go ahead and hype that video for me, man. Go ahead and hype that video. Last video, or not last video, but 2 videos ago, we got over 100,000 hype points on a video. I think that's kind of insane. And it helps the videos get out there to more like-minded Boruto fans. So I'm saying it right now, it directly supports me. It helps the channel grow. So if you guys could just drop a hype, that would be much appreciated. But anyway, I'm not gonna dilly-dally any longer. Let's just hop right into the video.
The Boruto series has finally been
Okay,
spawned, as we now know for a fact that why Kawaki couldn't shrink his sword with the Sukuna Hikona. Boruto has asked Sumire to amp up his sword with her research, which would create a technique that doesn't exist in the world.
Oh, that's some crazy AI skills, I ain't gonna lie. But one thing I did pause because I noticed he talked about Kawaki not being able to shrink Boruto's sword. I mean, obviously, if we look at the little snippet of Kawaki versus Boruto at the end of the series, Boruto's sword is still in its original form, and we know one of Kawaki's many abilities is Sukuna Hikona, which allows him to shrink any non-living thing. So by all means, if Kawaki was taking his fight against Boruto relatively serious, then he would shrink Boruto's sword. The fact that it's not shrunk must mean that it's immune to Shinjutsu, or not even immune to Shinjutsu, but it has a property to it which makes it unshrinkable. So that's also one hint we gotta take into account when talking about Boruto's potential new sword, and the powers that this new sword inherited.
A brand new power that could give his sword the aura to defeat Jura as well as Kawaki. And it's only because of this upcoming amplification that Kawaki couldn't simply shrink his blade in the future. The enhancement process will begin shortly, as Boruto had handed over a secret scroll to Sumire, which holds the key to a never before seen
Yeah,
power.
that's
but
crazy.
Before we move on to what this power is going to be, would it only amp this sword?
I'm not gonna lie, out of all the Shinjutsu that we've seen yet, Prescience has to be up there. Like, Omnipotence is pretty broken. I mean, to say pretty broken, that's an understatement. But when I'm comparing it to Prescience, it's a close number 2. Or 10 Directions, however you want to say it. But just think about it. Boruto was not only able to gain knowledge on the future because of Kashin Koji, but he gave this information to Sumire in the present so she can develop unheard technology. Like, if we put that into real world perspective, right? Let's say somebody go into the future and then get a cure from a crazy disease. A cure that's not gonna be found until like 2084. Just bring it to the future and it's cure millions of people. You know how broken that is, insanely broken. Wow. So this technology that Boruto is giving access to Sumire is not supposed to exist yet. That means however she makes Boruto's sword, or whatever the result is of implementing this technology into Boruto's sword, it'll be something we have never seen before. And I think that's simply crazy. And obviously Sumire probably developed something to combat the Shinju, so whatever it is, it probably bodes well against the Shinju and or OTSUTSUKI.
What's the secret behind the scrolls that he has handed over to Sumire? Do they belong to Orochimaru that Boruto found by Koji's help? Or is it something that Momoshiki advised
Orochimaru
based on the recent events? Well, all of that will be answered. But first take a look at this scene from episode 1, where Boruto can be seen flexing both his sword and the Jogan in front of Kawaki. Notice how both of these powers are associated with Sumire. In the anime, it was the chakra of New Way which led the Jogan's premature awakening. And now when you look at how the sword is also amped by her, the dots seem to connect pretty well. Sumire is a vital anchor in Boruto's fate, not just because she informed Sarada about omnipotence, but also due to her active participation in making Boruto stronger. So what exactly...
I see what he's saying about the Jogan though. I mean, if you watch the Boruto anime and you've seen that anime only kind of arc where Sumire went rogue and tried to destroy Konoha, yes, it happened. Boruto's Jogan did activate in his battle against Nue in response to its chakra. So if you watch the anime, you've seen that Boruto's Jogan kind of like resonated with the negative energy that Nue was producing. So basically this negative energy appeared as like a purplish aura, utilizing negative emotions such as hatred, fear, and sadness. That was the whole thing surrounding this arc. Boruto's Jogan, Nue's negative chakra or negative energy, whatever, and then Boruto being able to see this aura. So if throughout this video he's gonna try and like insinuate that Sumire could be a potential catalyst to awaken his Jogan, I mean there is the anime to back it up. And you guys know how I feel about the anime and the manga kind of correlating with each other, kind of giving us hints as to what we can see in the future of the manga. So I mean, I can see that as a possibility. That's all I'm saying. But yeah, for anything to be confirmed as of right now, we gotta know what's inside that scroll. I'm not gonna lie. And I'm really excited to know what was in there too. I think we're gonna find out next chapter. We have to. Next chapter is gonna take place like a few days into the future, so everything's gonna be ready for us. You know, Kawaki getting his limiters fully removed, Inojin's new jutsu, Boruto's new sword. So yeah, we just gotta wait and see. I think next chapter is gonna be up there with chapter 13 in terms of like story building and stuff like that.
Well, let's jump to the sequence of chapter 27, where Boruto appeared to meet Sumire.
Oh yeah.
When she runningly gets out of
Boruto
Aida's
just
house,
changed the future crazy.
Boruto at the door, who had seemingly been waiting for her.
What?
Sumire catches his sight as Boruto greets her and then takes out the sword that he amps up with his chakra. He then starts to explain what he is doing by referring to this technique as Uchiha sword style, cloaked sword, where you coat the
chakra saber. I remember that.
To prevent it from getting dull or chipped. He then reveals that he only let his guard down once, leading to the sword getting nicked by Jura. Further, he asked Sumire to fix it by the end of this week, which refers to the time period before the strike of Mamushi.
He said, can you fix it within the next week? And the next chapter is going to take place a few days into the future. So is she done? I mean, if the technology that Boruto gave her is that advanced, that nobody ever seen it, like there's nothing like this as Boruto stated, then it should take a bit longer than a few days, right? Or maybe she's just finishing up with it. So maybe a potential plot point for next chapter is like everybody starts fighting Mamushi and then Boruto comes out of nowhere. Or let's say like this, from my last video I talked about Kawaki and his new power. So I see it as Kawaki joining in the fight early with his new power, showing out, but then in the middle his body breaks down because he underestimated the strain this new power would have on his body. Therefore, he's going to be taken out of the fight, which would cause everybody to struggle a bit more because, you know, Kawaki is pretty strong. And then Boruto comes out of nowhere with his new sword. It's perfect. I think it's perfect. And then he shows his new power up. You know, Boruto, he needs his power up. He needs it. He's falling behind crazy, especially after Kawaki's about to get this new power up. Yeah, it's about to be clips. So I really expect Boruto to show out in the battle against Mamushi in a big way. Because honestly, we haven't seen Boruto really dominate since his battle against Code. I would say Hidari, but you know, Sarada was helping him out too. But a dominant performance, he needs that. And I feel like with this new sword, he's gonna be able to give that to us. He already made efforts to change the future, boom, by telling Sumire about this new technology. He already created a new timeline. He created another new timeline by telling Kawaki about his new power. But now he's trying to create another timeline. And Koji didn't even know that he told Kawaki about his limiters. So Boruto might be doing this undercover. He might be creating new timelines, going against Koji, we don't know. So that's why I said there might be two timelines, Boruto's timeline and Kashin Koji's timeline. Or if not two separate timelines, then you have two people trying to manipulate the future in their own way. And like I said, that's a recipe for conflict later. Because if two people feel like what they're doing is right, then something is gonna have to give, especially if they don't like how each other is doing things.
Upon taking a look at the scroll, she quickly realizes that this technique doesn't exist in this world yet, and Boruto confirms that by adding it lies out at the end of the research that she is currently conducting. Eventually, she will figure it out by herself. Boruto then tells her that's all he can reveal right now, which then leads us to Sumire's response. She tells Boruto that by using this skill to fix the blade, it would essentially become an entirely different thing.
Yeah.
Would he be
Oh, I
okay?
love it.
Boruto replies by saying it will become a stronger blade, and even his master must be okay with it as well. I love how
Unbreakable.
he's so optimistic with Sasuke's return, which might even be a hint that Hidari would finally get defeated by Sarada, after which they would retrieve Sasuke from the Shinju trick. And this conversation between both of them answers a lot of questions as well, like why Boruto's sword in the future is not chipped. It's actually because he will get it fixed before that fight, and this only makes me wonder how long will it take for the prologue event to finally happen. Kawaki not using his Kokugan to shrink the sword also makes sense, as the modification could have made the blade unshrinkable as well. So could this be the most awaited manga debut of New? I feel like so because Boruto tells Sumire that the technique has something to do with what she's currently researching, which means the research was going on from some time now. But the question remains, what could it be about? Well, in the anime, Sumire was able to manipulate her dark chakra into creating a snake, and that snake could absorb other people's chakra for itself.
Yeah, this negative chakra, or dark chakra, however you want to say it. But this was something only exclusive to Nue. Or if I can remember right, it's something that her parents passed on to her. I haven't seen the beginning of the anime in a very long time. I might actually have to go and rewatch it after seeing this video, because now I'm more convinced that Nue has something to do with this new technology that she's researching. And I see that's something a lot of people mentioned for a while. Many people wanted to see Nue in the manga. So if there's any time for Ikimoto to implement that, it would be now. You know, with the other mysteries that we don't know, like Kakashi and all that. But hey.
So what if she uses the same dark chakra to amplify the blade of Boruto? Now that would not only make Boruto much more powerful, but would also increase the importance of Sumire in the plot, cause the way Boruto would use that blade could mimic the dynamics of Naruto's Baryon mode. And here is why I think so. If you think about it,
Said
Kawaki
Baryon
somehow
mode?
replicates
Oh, hold
the
on.
destiny of Ishiki or Suzuki, since both of them are the wielders of the same power, thanks to the karma. So Kawaki's defeat being similar to how Ishiki was defeated shouldn't be out of question if the authors are trying to create a symbolism. On top of that, the defeat of Jura could also have a symbolic meaning. It could take place the same way the Ten Tails was exploited by Jigen in part 1, and that is through chakra absorption. The Juvenile Ten Tails was a huge source of chakra for Jigen to amp himself up, and while it doesn't mean that this process made him any weaker, since the Ten Tails are already humongous blobs of chakra.
Hey, that's actually not a bad ability for the sword. The ability to absorb chakra with every strike. So essentially, the sword would be alive. It would be like Samehada, which if people don't know, that's Kasame's shark skin sword. Basically being able to absorb chakra with every strike and everything. So one ability of Boruto's sword could be to strip away chakra. Therefore, Boruto wouldn't have to constantly push out chakra to keep it from being chipped or dulled. What's that ability he calls it? Hagoromo. So I like that as one potential ability, but just absorbing chakra, that wouldn't be the main ability. That might be one of the properties it gains from this new power, but definitely it wouldn't be the main ability.
So Boruto's sword using the mechanics of Naruto's Baryon mode to defeat both Kawaki and Jura kinda makes a lot of sense. As I said earlier, Sumire's dark chakra can absorb another person's chakra, and when you look at how Baryon mode was used to defeat Ishiki, it works on a similar principle. It not only boosted Naruto's power, but also consumed his and Ishiki's chakra simultaneously. The process converted their combined chakra directly into raw life force energy, which burned away at Ishiki's remaining lifespan every time their chakras made contact. Essentially, it was a mutual annihilation type of reaction, just like nuclear fusion, that drained Ishiki from the inside out. So if the dark chakra and the blade of Boruto were to mimic the same parasitic absorption, it wouldn't just steal chakra, but it could actively erode the opponent's life force with every clash, just like how Baryon mode ended Ishiki, despite Naruto being outmatched in power.
Nah,
For
he's
Jura,
spitting.
it will be a symbolic sort of defeat. Boruto's sword could land a number of massive hits on him, as it would mimic the time when Jigen used to take his chakra to make himself stronger. Kawaki, on the other hand, if he would be defeated by some blows of the blade, would succumb to a fate similar to Ishiki, as he tragically got weakened by a similar chakra stealing ability. But even more interesting is that her power seems to be a
That would be
of
very
and advanced
that would be
techniques.
very
That's
symbolic.
likely why she's studying under Amado. Also, the powerful seal on her back was created through artificial ninjutsu. It's as if she's meant to become the bridge between traditional chakra arts and modern scientific innovation. So could this be a confirmation for the sealing technique of New?
And it also is a good opportunity for Ikimoto to reintroduce scientific ninja weapons into the series. One thing that we have to note is that this isn't Naruto. In the Boruto era, they live in a time where science is encouraged, whether that's scientific enhancements, innovation, whatever it is. So Boruto using scientific ninja weapons or just getting stronger through scientific means should not be frowned upon. Of course, we know he had that situation with him cheating in the Chunin exams, but as we know, that was because of more so how he used it. He used it in a way that made it so he had power that he himself didn't possess. And what will make it different from here is just extending on those abilities that he already has. I mean, throughout the whole series, science has been the main focus. We can't escape it. Amado with his cyborgs, it's all science. Kawaki's body is a weapon, a scientific ninja tool. Naruto and Kawaki's prosthetic arm, science. We live in a time where science is everything. So like I said, this will be a good time to introduce that to our main character. Because after Sumire modifies the sword, it's not just a sword anymore. I hope you guys know that. It'll be considered a scientific ninja tool, or classified as a scientific ninja weapon. So Boruto is going to be using what he also claims to hate. But like I said, it's good for the story because it further differentiates Naruto from Boruto. We can kind of see how it's different. So yeah, other than that, I see this as a great opportunity for Ikimoto to really push scientific ninja tools into the story yet again.
The yokai of Sumire was on the anime canon till now, on top of getting mentioned in one of those manga trading cards. So maybe the anime and this honorable mention was teasing the actual role of Sumire and New, which will take place in the upcoming arc. In the Boruto anime, particularly episode 1 to 15, the Jogan first manifests in Boruto's right eye during his encounters with mysterious possessions that were plaguing Konoha. These incidents are revealed to stem from Sumire's summoned New, a chimeric spirit being created through her father's experiment.
Back when Sumire was just a villain for no reason.
New's dark chakra originates from its pocket dimension, causing possessions and chakra disruptions. Moreover, Boruto's Jogan activates involuntarily while sensing this dark chakra, allowing him to perceive invisible chakra flows, weak points in New, and even interdimensional portals. Now jumping to the current events of the manga, where Sumire's involvement is powering up Boruto's blade.
And you know what's crazy? Man. These upcoming chapters is going to prove a lot. And I dare Ikimoto to make one reference from the anime, because I'm taking that and I'm running with it. If Boruto's sword grants him the ability to perceive chakra flows or anything like that, or basically just take anything from this arc in particular, then I'm taking that and I'm running with it. Y'all gonna get several theory videos for just from that. Just from that, I promise you.
By coating Boruto's sword with it, Sumire might unknowingly create the very same reaction that triggered the Jogan's awakening years ago. Only this time the effect won't be limited, as it would be magnified through combat and battles. This would turn out to be one of the biggest foreshadowings in this series, while the Dark Chakra activation
he's right.
The
biggest foreshadowing in the series.
The manga could take a collaborative turn between Sumire and Boruto to bring the pure eye to life. Let me know in the comments if you have any theories for a dedicated video on this topic. Now let's dive into another theory for how exactly this enhancement of the blade is going to work out. In the same chapter, we see Amado identifying the roots that Jura summoned as a part of the god tree. This means they are actively doing research on the sentient entails. And when you look at how Kawaki cannot shrink living objects with Sukuna Hikona, what if Sumire is somehow going to make the blade sentient by using the research that she is doing with Amado? It would not only explain how Boruto can confidently use it in the future, but would also give us a hint for why it didn't chip even before the time skip battle. So Sumire doing the experiment to make the sword sentient or have its own consciousness or chakra.
Yeah, have its own consciousness or chakra, which makes it alive, therefore unshrinkable. So like I said, it might be the properties of the sword after it gets enhanced by Sumire, which could be the reason why Kawaki can't necessarily shrink it. I mean, just because it has its own consciousness doesn't really mean it's alive, but that can be a potential plot point as to why he can't shrink it. Like, it's really 50-50 at that point. And he did mention Amato in there too, and I'm glad he did because Amato can play a huge role into this, especially if he's going to be assisting Sumire in the enhancement of Boruto's sword. Like, I could see Sumire taking this information about this new technology and discussing it with Amato and just have him put his 2 cents into it. I mean, he's a better scientist than Sumire at this point, so I wouldn't be surprised if she went to him for some information or something like that. And then you have the possibility of Amato putting some crazy power into the sword. Like, maybe his encounter with Kawaki got him a little bit worried that Kawaki can potentially be a threat in the future, so he modifies Boruto's sword and makes it immune to Sukuna Hikona or whatever. Or maybe since Amato has detailed knowledge on the Shinju because of him viewing the footage of Kawaki versus Jura, he might have something to do with Boruto's sword that can make it more effective versus the Shinju. So like I said, Amato can also play a huge role in this little sequence of events, so I would not downplay him whatsoever.
The next speculation again brings up the Momoshiki and Kama coordination of the blade. But if the never before seen modification that Sumire will do to Boruto's blade would allow him to smoothly integrate the sword with his Kama seed. In other words, it could allow him to use
it that's also a good idea.
He manifested chakra weapons to fight his opponents. The dark chakra integration, which stems from the OTSUTSUKI dimension, could theoretically make Boruto combine the powers of the Kama and the sword, which could lead to a perfect synchronization of abilities. Now let's get to the most interesting part, which would make the boundary between the anime and the manga appear blurry. What if the scroll that Boruto passed down to Sumire is actually some research on New, which was supposed to be unveiled in the future? But thanks to Kashin Koji's prescience, they are able to use the early information in making Boruto's weapon stronger than ever.
Nah, this AI is crazy. What?
The anime with the dark chakra of New. It helped her to open a dimensional portal, absorb the chakra of others, strengthen the fishing rod of Boruto, summon New in battle, share chakra with her allies, seal the core of New in her left palm, and she even commanded New to take her chakra. If all these mystical properties of New's chakra are transferred to Boruto's blade, then he would inevitably become the strongest person of the shinobi world. Not to mention, chapter 27 ends by showing the invasion of Mamushi on Konoha, so maybe we will not be getting the behind the scenes for how exactly Sumire amped the sword of Boruto, but the powers it will inherit would definitely
and that's bothering me, man. That's bothering me. Why are we not getting behind the scenes footage? Why? We didn't see what happened the first time Amato removed Kawaki's limiters. We didn't even see that yet, and now he's about to do it again? Or he's about to do it for real this time? It doesn't make no sense. We gotta start seeing behind the scenes. I mean, a lot of people might not be interested, but I am, because I'm a real fan, and I want to see that. I want to see every single step Sumire took in upgrading Boruto's sword. And we probably won't unless we get a flashback, because we already fast forward a few days into the future. We might get a flashback. I'm not gonna rule that out. So, hey, I'm not mad yet. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed that video. I mean, that was a real cool video from Kashikage. Like, all those possibilities for Boruto's new sword power, I like it. I like it. I can't say I don't. And I think a lot of them can go with the current flow of the story. So if you was to make your own ability of Boruto's sword, what would it be? And it has to be something that can help him in this current battle against Mamushi, or maybe a potential battle against Jura. Maybe something to connect his soul with Momoshiki better, or something like that. So if you could come up with an ability like that, what would it be? Leave that down below in the comment section. Also, if you guys want to, I did make a video on Boruto's sword too. So if you guys want to, go check that out, I'm gonna leave the link to that down below in the description as well. But anyway, Kashikage, like I said, I'm gonna link his channel down below, so make sure you go check him out. Really good content creator. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So anyway, if you enjoyed the video and wouldn't mind seeing more like this in the near future, go ahead and like the video, comment, subscribe, and turn on them post notifications so you get notified whenever I upload or go live for chapter spoilers. And until my next one, I'm gonna see ya boys and girls later, and I'm out. Peace.